royalties are a way to leverage the future, which I think is going to be a no gold future. Why would the central bank want you to have gold? There's no reason for you to have gold.
Let's talk gold, because I'm just wondering, as you're saying that, if you are looking to get into some hard assets, are you better off entering it now than when the Fed coin comes along?
It's dirt cheap, and eventually they're going to make it where you can't buy it. I mean, you already see these news stories coming out. The Russians,
Yeah.
they have all these 75 million ounces of gold. I bet you they have way more than that. Oh, they're going to evade sanctions with gold. Therefore, gold is bad. Therefore, if you like gold, you like Russia. You see how this is building up already. So they're going to do this. It's
Yeah.
going to happen. And I have 3 gold dealers in my book. Call any of those gold dealers and tell them that you want a bunch of coins. And they're going to say, I know you're friends with EB, you read his book, but I got to tell you something, guys. There's not a lot of gold right now. So you have to pay a lot of money. What does that tell you? You got to pay this amount to get an actual coin, and you got to pay this amount in the market. Okay, so there's a big problem. Now, personally, this is just me. I like the royalty business because as this becomes reality, I get decades of future gold production valued today. And so I think what's going to happen is you're going to see the royalty companies, not just my company, but the whole business of royalties is going to get incredibly interesting the second half of this year. I think these companies have irreplaceable assets. There's a lot of takeovers going on. If you look, there's been 5 takeovers in the last year in this business. It's not getting any headlines. And these companies are struggling to find new deals. The deals they own are undervalued, and people are buying these companies. And so I think the thing to do, the coins are one thing, okay, but there's a limit to how many coins you need. So the royalties are a way to leverage the future, which I think is going to be a no gold future. Why would the central bank want you to have gold? There's no reason for you to have gold, because then they can't control you. It's a huge problem.
Is that what you mean when you say that gold is under assault?
It's like it's coming from every angle. I mean, if you look at the futures market, you have half a year of gold production sold short in one day when gold breaks over 2,000. That's crazy. Who's doing that? Okay, you have that angle going on. Then you have from the angle of Russia. They say, well, Russia has all the gold. They're terrible. If you have gold, you're with Russia. You see, you're seeing you're never seeing people say that about Bitcoin. They'll never say about Bitcoin, well, the hackers have Bitcoin, so if you have Bitcoin, you're a hacker. They never say that. It's a whole page of positive Bitcoin. It's going to change the world. Got to get some. Got to get all the coins. The coins are coming back. Here's the price prediction. You never see that on gold. So there's a reason they don't want you to have gold.
Aren't you just tired of all the noise, EB?
Well, most of the time, I don't have a television, so I don't have any noise on whatsoever. But once you've done this long enough, it's very easy to see through the clutter. Because if you remember something, everybody out there watching, knows this. Everybody was really upset about Me Too. Everybody was really upset about everybody's life matters. And then you're really upset about all these different movements. And then the COVID, you're at the Whole Foods and somebody's yelling at you about COVID. You get your mask over your nose, and that's all done. Now I went to a Russian restaurant with my kids because I wanted them to eat the Russian food last weekend. They have a giant Ukraine flag. I'm laughing because I'm saying I've been to all these places. It's very funny to see all this because you would never normally see this. It's just
because they're getting attacked.
They're getting attacked.
They're getting attacked.
They have to show that they're virtuous.
Yes.
And if you've been to Ukraine and you've been to Russia and you've done business there, you know that it's a very complicated relationship, and it would be very rare to see a Russian restaurant in Moscow with a big Ukraine flag out front. So anyway, my point is, you said to me, do I get tired of the noise? You have to understand that from my perspective, after 20 years of noise, I'm like a person. You ever spend time with your grandparents and they don't really listen to each other? They have it's almost like they have a natural way to tune each other out. That's how I feel, because when I look at this situation, I say, a couple of weeks from now, you'll forget all about this and you'll be upset about the next thing they tell you to be upset about. And so once that goes on for a long time and you can see that, you just tune it out and you try to look for the facts. And the way the facts line up right now is that there's a very small amount of people that are about to make a huge amount of money, okay? And there's a very large amount of people that are somewhat slowly losing most of their money.
Well, if there is transitional wealth happening, and a lot of folks might not know what to do with that wealth.
Well, right. I mean, that's a whole other story. But when you look, I was just with some friends last weekend. They want to know about what's going on in the royalty business. And I explained to them, listen, the gold price goes up $100, $200, $300. The value of 30 years of gold production goes up drastically. Then Then you look at what's going on with carbon. It's so new, right? So we've already done the work. So we were busy last year building this carbon company, and now we're about to come out to the market, right? And people say, well, that's some hippie stuff right there, but it's not. This is what's going on now, and this, you're going to see more and more and more of this going on, and people that get involved are going to be ahead of the curve.
So 2 points. You were calling for gold to go above 2,000 an ounce. We got there, but investors want higher gold, and they're saying, given everything that's happening, shouldn't it be higher? EB, why isn't it higher?
I'm stunned. I mean, look at so the nickel market is not the same as the gold market. You don't have all this paper trading in the nickel market. It's very thin. And so the nickel market broke down and ran to about 400% in a matter of days. And there was one Chinese guy that had been shorting. Now, it's no coincidence that the Chinese own the LME. So you can kind of take that information for what it's worth. But this guy had been shorting the entire time. And he said today on Bloomberg he wants to short more. So you have the same thing with the gold market. Who are these people shorting? We've always accused them of this and they call us crazy. But these people are out there doing this. So I don't know when the gold market does what the nickel market did. But I can tell you something. When it does what the nickel market did, which is it backs all the shorters into a corner and makes them settle with physical gold, they're going to shut the market down.